You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14.
Right now at 7, the Wyandotte School District is asking voters to approve a $2 million grant.
Plus, an escaped inmate in Missouri has been captured after he crashes his vehicle.
And we are looking at another above average day, but rain chances beginning to increase. We'll take a look at that forecast to get you out the door coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. I'm Caitlin O'Shaughnessy.
And I'm Chris Warner. It is just after 7 a.m. on this Tuesday morning across the area. Another warm day out there.
Lovely day, no complaints.
That's true. We need to cool back. I've told you before, I hate the cold weather, so I don't mind the warm weather, but I also know it's part of the circle of life. You know, it's got to get cold.
People want that crisp fall morning to wake up to.
That's true, but we also need it to get cold because we've got bugs out there that we need to get rid of.
We need to definitely, focus on this. This is a huge issue. So the Cherokee County Health Department is trying to raise awareness of tick-borne diseases with a TikTok presentation. KOAM's Elise Noe has more.
The Cherokee County Health Department held a presentation about alpha-gal syndrome, an incurable tick-borne disease found in the Lone Star tick that causes an allergy to red meat.
Unfortunately, there's no real cure for the alpha-gal. At this time, we just treat the symptoms. So there's nothing that magically takes it away.
When those who have contracted alpha-gal syndrome first start to notice something's wrong, they often confuse their symptoms like nausea and hives for another illness. For Jackie Jonas, a Kansas cattle rancher, she had experienced symptoms like fatigue and hives, never knowing what was wrong until her health took a turn.
It came to a head. I had a seizure, and they took me to the hospital, and that's when they really started looking into what was going on.
That's when Jonas was diagnosed with alpha-gal syndrome, and for the Kansas rancher, the adjustment to avoiding red meat was a challenge.
It's awful. We raise our own beef, but pork makes me sicker than beef. I can't even cook pork.
Alpha-gal is a sugar molecule that, when injected into the human bloodstream, causes an allergic reaction to red meat, milk, and even gelatin capsules that are often used for medications. Now, ticks are typically found in tall grass and wooded areas like this, but they're also in your gardens, in your bushes, and as the seasons change, they're also in fallen leaves. So be sure to double check the kiddos after they've jumped around in the fall leaves. Extra steps you can take to prevent tick-borne diseases when outside. Make sure to wear long, light-colored clothing, and you can always apply bug spray for an extra layer of protection. In Cherokee County, Elise Noe, KOAM News.
Health officials say tick season is typically over in mid-November, around the first hard freeze of the year.
And unfortunately, we are still a little ways away from that first hard freeze, but it is going to cool back. We'll talk about the fall temperatures here in just a few minutes, but while we get you out the door with a quick look at that forecast, looking outside live from our camera at 7th and Range Line in Joplin, you can see some clouds off in the distance there, and we will continue to see clouds increasing and be mostly cloudy as we get our day underway. And you can see some of those clouds as well from the MoDOT camera at 32nd and Range Line on the south side of the city, looking back to the north. So as we get our morning started, mostly cloudy skies. The winds are going to pick up too out of the south, gusting occasionally 20 to 25 miles an hour, so be aware of that. And for at least some of us, some isolated shower chances a little later in the morning through the afternoon. Mid-70s by late morning. So what are we talking about with those isolated shower chances? Well, this is what we're talking about. Most of us will be cloudy. You might think it's about to rain, but it's not really. These shower chances by noon, they go through pretty quickly, and as you saw, they're also very isolated. They're very quick, very isolated. So not everybody's going to see rain today. But tomorrow's a different story. Later this evening, we even go mostly clear to partly cloudy out there. Then we head into the overnight. Clouds begin to increase around midnight, and so do those shower and thunderstorm chances. These will be scattered across the area as we head into our morning commute. We're not anticipating any severe weather, which is great news, but could be a bit of a soggy start to the day. We get a little pause in activity, and then we'll see additional redevelopment of showers and thunderstorms, and these will be scattered across the area through the evening, into the overnight hours as well, even into our Thursday morning. So those rain chances tomorrow, again, best initially in the morning. We get that little lull in activity, and then it'll pick back up later in the evening, heading into the overnight hours. And again, these rain chances also are going to change our temperatures, albeit briefly. We'll take a look at your full forecast here in just a few more minutes. Caitlin?
For a woman from South Coffeyville, Oklahoma. The crash occurred Sunday night about 5 miles north of Lenape, Oklahoma in Nottawa County. Troopers say a Jeep was traveling south on US 169 when it struck a deer in the roadway and deflected it into the windshield of a Chevy Blazer. The deer went through the vehicle, exiting through the rear window. The driver of the Blazer, Caroline Howard, died at the scene. And 2 people are injured in a motorcycle crash Sunday night in Bourbon County. The Kansas Highway Patrol say that the crash happened 5 miles southeast of Mapleton. Troopers say 2 motorcycles were heading south on K7 at a high rate of speed and failed to negotiate a curve. One of the motorcycles left the road and hit a guardrail. The second motorcycle then hit the first. Donovan Zorns and Richard Springston, both of Fort Scott, were taken to hospitals with serious injuries. An escaped inmate in Missouri has been captured. Jonathan Odell was spotted in Ray County Sunday afternoon in a stolen truck. Authorities caught him after he crashed the vehicle. Odell escaped from the Phelps County jail with another inmate Friday night. The other person already surrendered, and Odell is facing federal charges for planning to shoot illegal immigrants. He also allegedly threatened to kill any Border Patrol agents who tried to stop him. Up next, Charlene Patton joining us in studio, and she's going to show us how to make marble rye and Swiss cheese bombs. And later, scary movies and Taylor Swift are coming to the big screen, and this month we'll have the details. You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. We'll be right back, but first here's a live look from Old Yale Farms in Frontenac, Kansas. In Health Watch this morning, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention is recommending new guidelines to prevent the spread of sexually transmitted diseases. The draft proposal is urging doctors to prescribe the antibiotic doxycycline PEP to certain patients more at risk of contracting diseases like gonorrhea or syphilis. The CDC recommends this new guideline apply only to men having sex with men and transgender women. Doxycycline is often used to treat a sexually transmitted disease once it occurs, but researchers say it may also be effective in preventing the same diseases if taken within 72 hours of having unprotected sex. The agency is asking the public to comment about the recommendation. People and organizations have until November 16th to weigh in. The proposal is somewhat similar to PrEP, which is a successful strategy using oral medications for preventing HIV in people at risk. And if you want to stare down some heart disease risks and win, taking the stairs could help you do that. Researchers at the Tulane University School of Public Health and Tropical Medicine say if you take at least 50 steps upstairs daily, you could cut your cardiovascular disease or stroke risks by 20%. The scientists say climbing creates short bursts of high-intensity activity. They say that helps improve cardiorespiratory fitness. The 50 steps a day is about 5 flights of stairs. And it's that time of year again. Respiratory virus cases typically start to rise in October, peaking between December and February, and this season the U.S. is facing another shortfall in a common antibiotic to help treat bacterial infections that may happen when a child is sick. In today's Health Minute, Mandy Gaither has more on what parents need to know.
It's the most prescribed antibiotic in the U.S., but for the second winter in a row, liquid amoxicillin is in short supply.
Unfortunately, this is not the first time we've been through this.
Dr. Nusheen Aminadine with Mayo Clinic says most illnesses in fall and winter are caused by viruses, which won't respond to antibiotics. Amoxicillin and other similar medications fight secondary infections caused by bacteria.
There are alternatives that we can use in almost all cases. And so it's not like we're going into this with absolutely no options.
Amoxicillin powder remains on the U.S. Food and Drug Administration shortage list. It's mixed to make the liquid form and given to young children who aren't able to swallow pills. The shortfall was first declared by the FDA last October. Since amoxicillin pills and tablets are not in short supply, Aminadine says some pediatricians may use those instead.
We can maybe crush a tablet and give that to a child so they get the same amount of the medication that can then be mixed into like a teaspoonful of a food that they might be willing to eat.
And there are other antibiotics as well that can be used to treat a child suffering from illnesses like pneumonia or an ear infection.
Sometimes they're a little stronger, sometimes they might cause more side effects. And so that's why amoxicillin has been a go-to for us for many decades. But we do have other options if your child needs antibiotic treatment.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Not all amoxicillin powder manufacturers have given a reason for the shortfall. Most are still producing the antibiotic, but have it on allocation, which means their customers can order only a limited amount. During a drug shortage, allocation helps ensure that no single buyer can claim all the available supply, but it also means pharmacies may run out quickly.
And we are keeping an eye on yet another above average day across the 4 states for us. However, changes are on the way. That includes rain and at least a brief taste of fall. We'll have another full look at your forecast when the KOAM Morning News returns. And coming up this week, Sam Bankman-Fried is set to stand trial for one of the biggest frauds in U.S. history. We've got the details. We'll be right back. But first, here's a live look from Old Yale Farms in Frontenac. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. Join us in the studio again today is our good friend Charlene Patton, coming all the way down from Topeka. You join us every week. You always bring incredible recipes, and you've got something that, just looking at what we're doing here, looks amazing. It is a marble rye and Swiss cheese bomb. Welcome to the show, Charlene. Always great to see you. Looking forward to this one. I was telling you, it looks great just the way it is, but there's more to this.
There is. It's such a fun recipe, and I'll let you say who won this. This is the winning soy ingredient recipe from the National Festival of Breads, which the Kansas Wheat Commission did this past summer. They had the judging, and this lady that won is from where?
Michelle Kuzma's from Columbus, Ohio.
Yeah, so they come from all over.
They do.
This particular dough recipe that she did, you can see that I've kind of got a white dough here, so that's a plain yeast dough, and then on top of it is a rye dough mixture, but she added a little bit of cocoa to it, so that makes it a little bit dry. So then, or a little bit darker is what I meant to say. So I rolled each of those out, and then we're going to roll them together, kind of like you would a cinnamon roll. So we'll roll that up, so we have both of them. And then we're gonna just turn this a little bit. And in her direction, she says, just kind of work the dough to just make it a little bit longer there. So you'll see that. And then we're gonna cut it into 12 to make 12 1-inch ones. I think the best way to do that is cut it in half. So if you're doing that with kids, and then if you cut it in half again, and then cut each of those into 3, then you've got your 6 on each side. Makes it easier to do. It's also nice to have a ruler in your kitchen, because you can, when you're rolling out dough, then you can tell what's going on and how big to make it. Now look at this.
Wow.
There, you've got that nice layer where you can see all the layers in there. Now she took a cube of Swiss cheese. I might say in this white dough is shredded Swiss cheese. There's a cup in there. So we're gonna put that in there and then just pinch it there. Kind of roll it up so that you can see it there, and then just kind of pinch that. You put that on a baking pan, and we'll just flatten that a little bit. Bake that in the oven for about, 18 minutes maybe. We've got the directions there you can get. And look at these, and I was telling you, if you serve those hot, that Swiss cheese is gonna come right out in the melted, and it'll be delicious.
That sounds amazing. And of course, you always bring amazing food. Folks, looking for the recipe, where can they go? What do they do?
They should go to kansassoybeans.org. They can call our 800 number, 877-KS-soybean. And as a wonderful bonus,
you mentioned this.
they'll get all the recipes for October. But the Kansas Wheat Commission has given us these wonderful books with all the winning recipes, and we'll send one to everybody.
Excellent. All right, Charlene, thanks so much for coming in. And of course, if for any reason you missed any part of that, you can always check our website as well at KOAMnewsnow.com. We will be back with more of the KOAM Morning News right after this. Well, scary movies and Taylor Swift, and depending on who you are, maybe those are hand in hand, are among the big new movie releases heading to theaters this month.
Rick DeMiguela has a story.
You have some experience with possession.
Yes, more than I'd like.
The Exorcist Believer gets October off to a scary start. The direct sequel to 1973's The Exorcist brings Ellen Burstyn back to her role as Chris McNeil. The first movie in a planned trilogy of films was originally slated to open October 13th, but was scared off by another movie and will now open Friday.
Welcome to the Eras Tour!
If the power of Taylor compels horror movies to change their opening dates, then expect theaters to be filled with Swifties on October 13th when Taylor Swift, the Eras Tour concert film, hits movie screens.
The Osage, their time is over. We got to take back control of our home.
Based on a true story, Killers of the Flower Moon stars Leonardo DiCaprio and Robert De Niro in Martin Scorsese's adaptation of the nonfiction book about the murders of wealthy Osage tribe members after oil is found on their land.
Have you met them yet?
Met who?
Foxy, Bonnie, Chica, and Freddy.
October began on a scary note and ends on another with Five Nights at Freddy's. Based on the popular video game, Freddy's stars the Hunger Games' Josh Hutcherson as an overnight security guard in a pizzeria with haunted animatronics. Not ordering pizza in Hollywood, I'm Rick Damigella.
That's pretty good. Well, it seems like October is chock full of great movies.
It certainly does.
And if the weather ever finally cools down, people could actually go to the movies and enjoy it
might
again.
feel like fall out there when you're watching these fall movies.
Absolutely. Well, coming up, Pitt State warms up its instruments and voices for a jazz ensemble concert.
Plus, take a look at this sky. Increasing clouds, another above average day ahead of increasing rain chances. Another look at that forecast when we come back.
The four states' most watched news starts now.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. The time now is 7:27 a.m. I'm Caitlin O'Shaughnessy. Wyandotte, Oklahoma schools are seeking taxpayers' approval for a new $2 million building to connect the kindergarten and first grade buildings. Students, mostly the younger ones, walk through the open area to go to the office, clinic, or the gym. School officials say this poses a security and safety risk. This new building will not only provide shelter to students moving from building to building, but also add 4 classrooms and a set of bathrooms for the growing student body.
That bond is paid off, and so this bond will be just following. It won't cause any increase for the taxpayers. We're paying off a bond, and the bond that's coming in would be would be a little bit less if it passes than what it started with the last bond.
The election is scheduled for next Tuesday, October 10th. A dozen Southwest Missouri schools or school districts will get grants for safety improvements under a $50 million state bill just signed by the governor. Joplin will get the maximum allowed, $300,000. Neosho and McDonald County schools each get $250,000. Carl Junction and Nevada get $200,000 each, and Diamond gets $100,000. 6 other schools or districts in our area will receive smaller grants. You can find the complete list at KOAMnewsnow.com.
And we've got ourselves another above average day out there. Temperatures heading low to mid 80s, so just that much cooler than yesterday, but not by much. We've thrown up scattered showers. These are very isolated. Most of us will remain dry. All of us should be mostly cloudy heading into the afternoon, and of course warm. Then we go into the evening. Believe it or not, we'll actually be mostly clear to partly cloudy and mild through most of the evening. It won't be until after midnight that those shower and thunderstorm chances will increase again. Lows back into the low to mid 60s. The great news news is not only are we getting this much needed rain, but as of right now, we are not anticipating any severe weather with this activity. Tomorrow and Thursday, both days right about average. Thunderstorms scattered throughout the day on Wednesday. Not an all-day washout, but most of the day we're going to see scattered shower and thunderstorm activity. That carries into Thursday morning. After that, though, that high of 77 is brief. Temperatures begin to fall. Check out that low, 51. Then check out Friday and Saturday. We go back into the mid-60s. So now we're about 10 degrees below normal. And our overnight lows fall back into the 40s. And Friday night, some of us could even get into the upper 30s. And if that's too cold for you or you just don't like fall period, well, don't worry. This is a brief taste of fall. As we head into next week, temperatures turn right back around. They go right back above average. Shower and thunderstorm chances Tuesday, Wednesday, highs back in the low to mid 80s as we head into the next work week. Caitlin?
All right. Well, Southeast Kansas landmark Big Brutus earned some recognition on the national stage. Kansas Congressman Jake LaTurner honored Big Brutus on the House floor. It's to celebrate the 60th birthday of the massive electric coal mining shovel. The largest of its kind, it stands at 16 stories tall and weighs 11 million pounds. It revolutionized strip mining, speeding up the process and increasing output more than any other machine at the time could match. The Pittsburgh State University Jazz Ensemble prepares for the first concert of the season. The concert will be this evening at 7 in the Bicknell Family Center for the Arts, showcasing musicians and vocalists.
I act as their coach in another set of ears, and I try to guide them and let them, really develop their own group and learn how to communicate with each other, which is the most important thing.
It's incredible. A lot of these people I've gotten to know on a deeper level, and they're like my colleagues, my peers. We'll have jam sessions other nights, and just seeing that we can still have that energy during school, I mean, it's really fun.
The performance is free of charge and open to the public. An area attraction is turning some heads nationwide. Annabelle's Fun Farm provides a pumpkin patch, corn maze, and offers over 45 new attractions. The 13-year-old farm has been voted lucky number 13 in the country for this type of attraction. Fame is fine, but for the co-owner, the farm is really about the fun.
You can expect just to have a blast. We got lots of food, drinks, ice cream shop, games, rides. We have a carousel, train ride, slide, ball zone, jumping pillow. There's something for everybody to do out here, from if you're just 2 to 92, even miniature golf, you can come in and play.
Annabelle's is open on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. We have Jerry Neely and Tom Rutledge joining us in studio. They're here to talk about Bibleista.
And we're keeping an eye on these increasing clouds because that means rain chances increasing. Temperatures still above average. We'll take another look at that forecast. But first, here's a live look from Old Yale Farms in Frontenac.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. Joining me today in studio is Jerry Neely and Tom Rutledge, and they're here to talk about Bibleista. Welcome to the show, gentlemen.
Thank you for having us.
So, for our viewers at home, what is Bibleista?
Bibleista is a day in Humboldt where we celebrate. We have gospel music throughout the square all day long. We have a Bible-based parade. We have food vendors. We have an information booth where we also sell t-shirts, look like this year. And we also just try to encourage people to come join us for a great day and celebrate God.
I love that. And this is a big year because it's your 65th anniversary.
It is.
Tell us, what's the history? How did this all get started?
A little over 65 years ago, Arthur Carlson had this thought that he thought it would be great to have a parade with just Bible-based floats in it, and it has grown to be what it is today. And as that developed, we've included gospel music groups, we've got contemporary music, we've got activities for the kids, and it's just a family event for them to come worship.
I love that. So give us a rundown of the day. How is it all going to unfold?
Okay. as we begin at about 10 o'clock, we have the local pastors that have begun getting together, and we share music. We lead the people to join us and sing hymns, and then we have, after that, we have Seventh Time Down coming to share, and then a local favorite, Lloyd Houck, is going to come share. And then about 1:20, the national anthem will play, and the colors will go lead the parade. After that, we have the whale float, always leads us off, and that's been along our system for years.
A whale float?
Yep.
Tell me about that.
Years ago, they decided that that would kind of be the symbol for the parade, and kind of share the story, Jonah and the whale. And so that leads us off, and we still use it today to start everything.
The kids' favorite.
Yep, and then after that we have the Voice of Truth Quartet, we have Parade Awards, we also have Born to Worship Quartet, and so a lot of quartet music. We've been trying to include contemporary gospel as well with Seventh Time Down, and so it's just a great time to bring your family out and join together.
I love that. And where can people go to learn more about this event?
If you look on Humboldt's city webpage, and also on Facebook, we have Bible Lesta on Facebook.
Wonderful. So tell us again, it's happening October 7th. Where's the location?
At the Town Square Central of Humboldt, and we start music at 10 o'clock. Vendors will probably start about then. And I'd like to give you a gift from Humboldt, one of our cups that we're sharing this year, and those will all be on sale at the information booth.
All right, well, make sure you check out the 65th Annual Humboldt Bible Lesta happening this Saturday. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
All right, we'll be right back with more news after this.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. So let's take a look down the road. By the way, it's 7:40 now on the dot. We have the possibility of a few isolated to widely scattered showers, maybe a couple of rumbles of thunder as we head late morning and into the afternoon across the area. Then by evening, we actually clear up a bit, going mostly clear, partly cloudy skies. And of course, we're going to be once again above average today. It won't be until about midnight, little after, clouds increase again, and here comes showers and thunderstorms. So a line of pretty nasty storms. Just to give you some context here, it's supposed to develop out in western Kansas, and they're expecting some pretty nasty storms. They are expected to be on the weakening side by the time they get here. So we'll still get scattered showers and thunderstorms, as you see, but we're not anticipating any severe weather. That should stay well out to the west of I-35 as we head into our overnight tonight into tomorrow morning. But we will have a bit of a soggy commute out there. Now, once the morning storms clear out, there's another brief pause, and we'll see clouds build back in, and we'll see scattered showers and thunderstorms persist with us through most of our Wednesday into the late evening, overnight hours, and even into our Thursday morning as well across the area. So, quick look at our rain chances. Best in the morning tomorrow, and we get that little lull for some of us, and then we'll see them pick back up again as we head into the evening and overnight hours. But again, thankfully at this point, not anticipating any severe weather. If that changes, we will of course let you know, but that doesn't look like a likely situation. Got clouds out there now, mostly cloudy, 67 in Joplin. Calm breeze. That wind later this morning will start to gust 20-25 out of the south, so do be aware of that. Got 64 in Pittsburgh, 66 in Parsons, Neodesha, Fort Scott, and Carthage, 67 Lamar and Nevada, 62 Miami and Grove as we get this Tuesday underway. Mostly cloudy skies through the morning. Winds increase. Shower chances for some will increase by late morning. We're going to go mid-70s. We've put the scattered showers up there, but again, most of us will remain dry, but some of us could see some showers. Otherwise, we're all mostly cloudy and warm, low to mid-80s out there. And if you see a little clearing a little earlier than your friends, so some of our western counties may go a little above the mid-80s. We're going to go low to mid-60s tonight again. Nice evening, and then shower and thunderstorm chances increase after midnight. Tomorrow and Thursday, right around average for the highs. Storms, morning storms, temperatures falling through the day on Thursday. Slowly, it's not going to just plummet. Back into the low 50s. Then we go about 10 degrees below normal Friday and Saturday with overnight lows back into the 40s. Some of us Friday night could even make the upper 30s. And then, because it's the 4 states, we turn back around and we go above normal because normal's not what we do. We go low to mid-80s by the next work week. A few more storm chances Tuesday and Wednesday. So we've got one heck of a roller coaster ride we're going to take over the next several days. That's a quick check of your forecast. Now we're going to send it over to Caitlin with a check of Consumer Watch.
Thanks, Chris. This week, Sam Bankman-Fried is set to stand trial for one of the biggest frauds in U.S. history. The 31-year-old has pleaded not guilty to 7 counts of fraud and conspiracy. The charges stem from the collapse of his crypto trading platform, FTX. Prosecutors allege Bankman-Fried stole millions of dollars of customer funds for his own personal use. They say he also used that money to cover up losses from a crypto hedge fund he controlled. Bankman-Fried's lawyers have hinted that they will invoke an advice of counsel defense, arguing that Bankman-Fried was following guidance from FTX's lawyers and didn't know his actions were illegal. If convicted, he could spend the rest of his life in prison. Blue Apron, the meal kit company, has a new owner. Blue Apron announced that it is being bought by the home delivery company Wonder Group. Wonder Group is a food delivery startup led by former Walmart and Jet executive Mark Lohr. The deal gives shareholders $13 per share, valuing Blue Apron at $103 million. Blue Apron went public in 2017, but has been challenged with a number of problems, including layoffs, growth issues, and competition from Amazon and Kroger. The Wonder Group, though, says combining the two brands will enhance both companies' abilities to deliver curated meals with high-quality ingredients to more customers across the country. And an Atlanta Krispy Kreme owned by legendary basketball Hall of Famer Shaquille O'Neal will reopen soon. The Midtown Atlanta location is on busy Ponce de Leon Avenue and has been closed for more than 2 years following a 2021 arson. Prior to that, the store was open around the clock. When it reopens October 10th, it will have reduced operating hours and no longer be open in the overnight hours. The store has been a site for more than 60 years. And General Motors laid off 130 union workers at its plant in Parma, Ohio. The plant has not been included in the United Auto Workers strike, but the strike is having an impact on the plant. John Kosish explains.
Operations continue for now at Parma's GM parts plant, but with fewer employees doing the work. The plant laying off 130 union workers Friday, or about 13.5% of the workforce. This plant hasn't been targeted by the UAW strike, but 2 of the biggest plants they send parts to have been.
That totals approximately 35% of our volume.
Amy Carrier is GM's director here. She says they can't build what those 2 plants in Missouri and Michigan won't be using.
Currently, we have our banks filled for those plants that were impacted by the stoppage. We continue to build product for the other 65% of our customers that we supply.
Do you get the sense there might be other layoffs down the road?
That I can't touch base on. I'm only aware of what the current impacts are.
Much, if not all, of what happens in this strike is beyond her control and that of local UAW President Dan Schwartz. The two say they have a good working relationship, but clearly see things differently on what the UAW is asking for and what GM is offering.
It's very tight-lipped. There's not a lot of coming out. We just know that, President Fain says that, we're disappointed that they're not bring us any offer that's what we're asking for or anywhere even near.
Carrier says her concerns at this point are not only for the GM employees here, but those impacted outside of this plant.
We recognize that for every one GM employee, that 6 other employees in the area are most likely affected in some way, shape, or form. We do not want this to be a negative impact on not only our team members, but our customers and the community as well.
Schwartz, though, says this strike is for the community, the working community as a whole. If the UAW is successful now, he says, it will send a message that other workers will benefit from in the future.
We're fighting for a fair contract for not only our UAW members and the auto workers, but we're fighting for social justice and economic justice for the working class that's out there.
For now, both sides in Parma watch and wait for any news from Michigan.
The UAW strike began nearly 3 weeks ago. We'll be right back with more after this, but first, let's take a look at the market prices before the opening bell. A new documentary gives unprecedented access to Lionel Messi. Foo Fighters are going on tour, and the Queen of Christmas is back.
CBS's Daniel Bacchus has your eye on entertainment.
Apple TV Plus has released a trailer for its new 6-part Lionel Messi documentary.
Lionel Messi is as big as it gets.
The docuseries follows Messi as he embarks on his historic next chapter, taking North America and Major League Soccer by storm. It also gives unprecedented access to Messi and his Inter Miami CF team. Messi Meets America comes to Apple TV Plus October 11th. Foo Fighters are hitting the road in 2024 with the Everything or Nothing at All tour. It will be the rock band's biggest tour since the release of their 11th album, But Here We Are, and the death of drummer Taylor Hawkins. The tour will hit 10 cities for 12 shows starting in July. General ticket sales begin this Friday. Mariah Carey has announced the return of her Christmas extravaganza, Merry Christmas One and All. The 13-date run will kick off in November. Pre-sale tickets are available Wednesday.
The cases you know.
And FBI True, a docuseries, takes a look at some of the most astonishing cases in FBI history through the eyes of the agents investigating them. They relive the heart-stopping moments and reveal new details. FBI True debuts on CBS tonight and is available to stream on Paramount+. That's your Eye on Entertainment. Danya Backus, CBS News, Los Angeles.
You know, it's funny, as it gets colder, Mariah Carey defrosts.
She is coming back with vengeance like she does every year. But let's get through Halloween first,
oh,
right?
Absolutely.
Then
I'm
Mariah
with you.
can have her
one
moment.
thing, one holiday at a time. I love Christmas, but one holiday at a time, please.
Yeah, as soon as Halloween's over, November 1st, Christmas, it's fair game. Sorry, Thanksgiving,
typically,
but it's Christmas for the
I mean, that's just the way it is. It's not going to feel like Christmas across the area, which is probably a good thing. It's a little too early for that, but we are going to get some rain and some cooler weather. Quick look at the future tracks. So today, as we head into the afternoon, we're looking at mostly cloudy skies, a little bit breezy, south wind gusting 20-25, and some isolated to widely scattered showers for some of us. Then through the evening, we start to clear out a little bit, mostly clear, partly cloudy skies, above average temperatures, and then after midnight, here come the clouds. Here comes thunderstorm chances. These will be scattered across the area through the morning. We've got a soggy morning commute ahead of us. They will pause, and then we'll see additional scattered showers and thunderstorms through the day on our Wednesday into our Thursday morning ahead of some big changes in our temperatures. We're going to take a look at that full forecast and the news you need to know right after this.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. A collision with a deer is fatal for a woman from South Coffeyville, Oklahoma. The crash occurred Sunday night about 5 miles north of Lenape, Oklahoma in Nowata County. Troopers say a Jeep was traveling south on US 169 when it struck a deer in the roadway and deflected it into the windshield of a Chevy Blazer. The deer went through the vehicle, exiting through the rear window. The driver of the Blazer, Carolyn Howard, died at the scene. And 2 people are injured in a motorcycle crash Sunday night in Bourbon County. The Kansas Highway Patrol say the crash happened 5 miles southeast of Mapleton. Troopers say 2 motorcycles were heading south on K7 at a high rate of speed and failed to negotiate a curve. One of the motorcycles left the road and hit a guardrail. The second motorcycle then hit the first. Donovan Zorns and Richard Springston, both of Fort Scott, were taken to the hospital with serious injuries. Wyandotte, Oklahoma schools are seeking taxpayers' approval for a new $2 million building to connect the kindergarten and first grade building. Students, mostly the younger ones, walk through the open area to go to the office, clinic, or the gym. School officials say this poses a security and safety risk. This new building will not only provide shelter to students moving from building to building, but also add 4 classrooms and a set of bathrooms for the growing student body.
And we've got ourselves a mostly cloudy day out there, still above average, low to mid 80s. Some of us could see an isolated shower or 2. Most of us should remain dry through today. Then we'll actually go mostly clear, partly cloudy through the evening, ahead of additional shower and thunderstorm chances overnight. Lows back in the low to mid 60s. Scattered showers and thunderstorms throughout the day on Wednesday all the way into our Thursday morning. No severe weather expected at this time, which is great news. Then look at that. We're average Wednesday and Thursday. Then we go 10 degrees below average Friday and Saturday, lows into the 40s. And then next week, well, average doesn't last. We go back above average. As we head into the next work week, temperatures return low to mid 80s, a few scattered showers and storms Tuesday and Wednesday.
Yeah, that looks like some pretty good football weather there.
That certainly does, at least for a little bit.
Right? Well, October is National Pet Wellness Month.
It's a reminder to take steps to ensure your furry friend is healthy and well so that they can live a long and happy life. So here's some tips to do that. Schedule their annual or biannual checkup if they haven't had one. Make sure they're spayed or neutered. Talk to your vet about any breed-specific health issues to look out for. Obesity is a common problem in dogs and cats today, so talk to your vet about what you can do if your pet is not at a healthy weight.
And be sure that they are up to date on their vaccinations and medications. Consider getting them a dental cleaning, and they need their teeth cleaned just like we do. If you don't have a pet, there's no better time than National Pet Wellness Month to volunteer or support animal welfare organizations such as low-cost spay and neuter clinics or pet vaccination clinics.
If you need a furry friend, maybe go pick one up as well. And then make sure that your furry friend is good to go.
You're my furry friend, Chris. Good boy.
I am a furry-footed burrower, thank you very much. Well, thank you so much for letting us put the good in your morning. I don't know where we just went, but we're going to collect ourselves, take a nap, and be back with more news and weather today at noon.
All right, have a great rest of your day.